So folks, I was going to take a trip out to this place that my cousin had said he'd been, but it's a little farther than I want to go, not knowing what they really have there. I mean, they have some cool stuff. I mean, it looks like, but I don't want to drive like 40 minutes to go there and maybe not end up buying anything. So I decided not to go there. But in doing so, I think I found another little shop online that hopefully will have some stuff. And it's here in Independence. It's not actually that far from the Resell Electronics. So I'm hoping that maybe they've got a little stuff we can browse and if not buy. So we're gonna go check her out. All right folks, we found this place. It's called A Game. We're gonna go in and see what they got. I'll try to shoot some and then maybe we'll pick some stuff up. I do have a couple of things, so I'll probably do a pickup video out of this even if I don't get anything here. So let's go in and check it out. I thought this said head shop. It says head shots.
Yeah?
Okay, let's see how those eyes are doing. See if you can tell me where
recommend it?
It's right there, buying a nice
Story's pretty good and a lot of fight scenes. Well, the action.
Actually have some Sega CD games.
A lot of the spaceship fights that they based off of the Navy and the Air Force, and they'll actually start using like a lot of military tools and out and about.
Come in.
What's up with the Jeep?
Hold that, come to that.
Oh man.
It's not a bad looking shop.
Yeah, I think there was also Zelda. Yeah, people. Oh yeah. Although I'm willing to argue that the PlayStation version was a lot better, just because like it was like one of the last pixel games. Yeah. But they get kind of with Super Nintendo, they really utilize pixels to the best of their abilities. And also had that thing of the, wow, these graphics look good.
I need to check it out, man. You're good. Oh, cool.
Come on, it's temporary. Just until he realizes I'm a great man. You'll not find him on any positive. Okay, I get it now. Oh, yeah. He's your grandfather, even though he did say that thing about you. Look, what did he say about me? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I told you.
Folks, Sandamtod here, made it back from our little trip. We're going to show some different things. I had a couple things come in the mail. I did go back to that pawn shop and buy the Absol game, and I'll show you what it's really called. And then we went over to a new place today called A Game, which is not more than about 2 miles from Resell Electronics. But I liked it. I'll definitely be going back. I've got a little store footage that you probably see in the front here. And let's get started. So anyway, after I had picked up the No Man's Sky and whatever, and I was talking about the game I saw at the pawn shop, I went back there, and it was still there. The case was tore to hell. So what I did is I found another PS4 game that was the same price because they had stickers on them, that wasn't torn up, and I swapped it out for the case that it was. So I didn't like try to scam price or anything. It was the exact same price. I just wanted a case that didn't have the front cover half ripped off of it. But I went ahead and picked up this game, and actually it had a little code inside to download like a theme or something, and it actually wasn't used, so I downloaded it. But the game I picked up is called Abzu, I think, and it's like an underwater kind of diving, kind of puzzle solving type of thing. And to me, like I said, it's hard to really get a good shot of it here, but it reminded me of Rez, you know, your character kind of floating in this environment and stuff. I know Rez is a totally different type of game, but it was just, for some reason when I first saw it, that's just what I thought of, kind of out of the gate. And it was $10. I don't know if it's worth $10. I played it a little bit. It seemed like it was really stylistic and fun. I guess it's made by the same people that made the game Journey, which I never really played. I don't even know if I own it. I might have it on the PS3, but I don't know if I do or not. So yeah, we picked this one up for $10. Another PS4 title. And then for a while there, I got kind of, I use the term happy, but I get a little excited buying stuff, and I'll buy one thing and I'll kind of like it, so I'll go ahead and buy similar things because I can't help myself. So anyway, I bought the Senran Kagura Burst renewal, and I kind of dig it. And like I said, I'm going to do a gameplay on it. But in doing so, I realized there were a couple other of these Japanese titles, the Senran Kagura ones. There's another one, I don't know what it's called, and then I picked this one up. It's still sealed as well, and I think this one was $30. This one's more like your DOA Extreme Volleyball, where you play volleyball and do other stuff and you're not really fighting. This one, I think, instead of doing the hack and slash kind of stuff you normally do, you are actually participating in like water gun fights. So this one's called Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash, the No Shirt, No Shoes, All Service Edition. And like I said, it's still sealed. It came in the mail, Amazon Prime dropped it off today. And like I said, I haven't opened this up yet, so we may open it up here in just a second. I thought I'd come back to opening it up because I've got some other stuff to show. But when I was looking at the Senran Kagura stuff, this other game came up, which is also made by the same company. And it looks similar in the hack and slash kind of style. And I'm not sure how to say this, of course. But I went ahead and bought this. I think this one was fairly cheap. And I stuck it in. It has some of that hack and slash kind of elements and stuff. And the back pretty much sums it up. It says bikinis plus swords plus zombies plus chainsaws equals chaos. And the game is called Onechanbara? Onechanbara. Onechanbara Z2 Chaos. I guess the Z stands for zombie. And that's what it says on the back there, what I just quoted. And then it's got some shots of the game and stuff. A bonus reversible cover art. Transform into a hyper-powered beast of destruction and take on zombies and rip them apart limb by limb. 4 femme fatales and deadly looks, moves, and weapons. Unleash bloody chaos throughout the world. Slash through hordes of enemies with unbelievable, over-the-top, blazing fast special attacks and chain combos. All at the silky smooth frame rate of blah blah. Brutal giant bosses, devastating decapitations, and did we mention bikinis? Yeah, you did. So here's the game in the instruction book, and then like it said, it does have reversible case art. There's the name on the side. And we'll go ahead and pull the art out just to see what the reversible side looks like. The reversible side looks like this. I need to really work on my framing in the shot. The problem is I don't know exactly where the camera is aiming most of the time. And so I just don't end up knowing whether I'm in frame or not when I'm doing this stuff. And yes, I'm putting this back in here. It didn't take but a second. So, One-Chanbara Z2 Chaos. And in doing that, another game had come up. This same One-Chanbara or whatever it is. It was a Wii game, and I was looking for them on eBay and Amazon, and this one came up on eBay or on Amazon, and I still had about $7 or $8 on this gift card. Well, no, it wasn't even $7. It was like $6.50 or something on this gift card. No, it wasn't. It was just a few bucks. But I had like some money left on the gift card that the dude had got me for Christmas. A coworker, one of the sales guys had given it to me for Christmas, and I forgot I had it forever, and then I bought the Elvira stuff. But I still had some money on it. I was searching on Amazon, and this game came up, and this was like at a thrift store. So it wasn't very expensive. It was free shipping. It was like $10 and something. But I had some money still on the card that it went toward it, so I ended up only paying about $6 for this. But this one's called One-Chanbara Bikini Zombie Slayers. Now, I don't know what the difference is. I stuck this one in and realized you have to use the nunchuck and swing it like this. It's not all on the controller, and I'm like, I'm not really hip to that. But it did have the directions in the game, and the game is in good shape. The case art and the case itself are a little boogered there. The case has a rip in it on the side, but the case art itself, aside from that one little booger right there, isn't too bad. And I thought about getting a new case for it. So this is One-Chanbara whatever Bikini Zombie Slayers, and this is the Z2 Chaos. So. And the more hack and slash stuff. I do love hack and slash, like Devil May Cry and God of War and that stuff. Just getting in there and just killing a ton of dudes. So this stuff had come in the mail in the last week. Under 20, around 20. This one was like I said, like $4 or $5. And this one, like I said, it was brand new. The guy was selling them, and I'm going to crack it open here. But I think it was 30 or 35. I don't really remember. And last weekend when I was out and about, I went out to my sister's. And I went over to the vintage stock and looked around. And I didn't buy anything except one thing, and I'm going to show it here. Actually, that isn't all of the... I also picked up a movie that I'm going to show. I saw these Pops, and I haven't bought Pops in a while. I really haven't. The last one I bought, I think, was the Deadpool as Bob Ross, and that was a while back. But they had these Pops, and they're pretty interesting looking. And so I went ahead and picked this one up, mainly because it says fan vote winner, and it's got a little sticker on it. But I thought it was cool looking, so I picked up this Marvel 10 Studios, the first 10 years figure for the Iron Spider. And like I said, it's got a little sticker on it that says fan vote favorite. So none of the other ones had that sticker. So I bought it. But they're all this gold, kind of shiny gold. And I picked this one up. There are some other ones on the back here. I don't know if that'll focus in or whether we're in frame with it. There's about 8 other ones. There's Iron Man, Loki, Captain America, Groot in the pot, like when he was at the end of the first movie. Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, Gamora, Black Panther, and Ant-Man. I wonder how they decided to pick Groot in the pot and Gamora. I guess so there'd be another girl in the group. Black Widow. I don't think I've ever seen a Black Widow pop. So that might be the... Is that the first Black Widow pop? I don't know. If it is, I might have to go pick up a Black Widow. I've never seen a Black Widow one. But they're gold like this, and they have this like shiny gold foil on the number and stuff. This was 12 something. I think it ended up being around 14 with tax, because the girl looked at it like, wow, it was like 14 something, and it was like 12. It might have been $12.99, so it was like $1 something tax, but she was like, wow, that's $14. She thought it sounded high, but, you know, whatever. I thought it was cool, so I picked it up. Oh, we're cruising along. Sort of. Put Abzu over here with these other ones. So while I was doing all this other crap, I was looking at Japanese games and stuff, and I saw some... I don't know how I stumbled across this, but I found this movie that's actually playing right now in the background called Sharkensaw Women's State Prison Massacre or something. So I think this chick's getting ready to get eaten in the background. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's kind of like Tremors meets a bad shark movie meets a, you know, one of them Skinamax, you know, kind of cheesecake movies about a prison or something. Actually, Tracy Lords is in this. I think she's one of the detectives. She was best known as being a porn star that was notoriously underage at the time she did most of her videos. And the only other... she's done some mainstream movies. The only two that come to mind for me that I recall, she did a cameo in the Blade movie at the beginning, and she's a vampire, and she gets killed by Blade. And then Zack and Miri Mega Porno, that Kevin Smith flick, she's in it. She's one of the chicks that's making the movie with the other people. I think Katie Morgan's in that too, another porn star chick. Yeah, I don't know, but she's in this. But it's one of those, like, so bad it's good kind of horrible movies. And I think it's tongue-in-cheek. It's supposed to be that way. So, yeah, I found it, and I went to go buy it. That's the thing. I was going to go buy it, and I ended up downloading it instead, doing a streaming thing, and just getting a copy of it, instead of buying an actual hard copy, because I didn't really want it that bad. But in doing so, I was looking at stuff on eBay, and I had searched for that movie, and this other movie came up, and I went and checked out a trailer on YouTube for it. And this movie is also just one of those. This is they're speaking in Japanese. You can watch it in a couple different ways. I think you can watch it with them speaking Japanese with English subtitles, or you can watch it where they're just speaking Japanese with no subtitles, or you can watch it where they did like an overdub with American dialogue over the top of it. And that's the one that is excellent. But we picked up this movie called Zombie Fight Club. And, yeah. Girls, blood, and zombies galore. Michael Wong, Jessica C., and Andy On are the key players here. I got to keep taking my glasses off because I'm nearsighted and I can't see with them on. In a corner of the city, in a building riddled with crime, there is an outbreak of zombies. When one woman witnesses her boyfriend falling victim to the zombie horde, she must team up with a police officer in order to stay alive and escape the building. But the once warm-hearted chemistry teacher, so-and-so, is now the zombie leader, following the chaos, which has transformed him into a cruel, vicious, and formidable opponent. Ratcheting up the terror, an evil organization has begun putting humans against zombies in malicious killing games. The good side of humanity has seemingly all but vanished in this world of uncertainty that awaits. Yes, recommended. It's the reason why this came up when Shark and Saw came up is they were released by the same company, Shout Factory. So, yeah, this one, but the English overdub on it is just, wow, I love it. It's horrible. Yeah, so that's I watched that the other night, and it's pretty damn sweet, like I said. Let's go ahead and crack open the Senran thing before we get into the final stuff that I bought over at A Game today. Like I said, there is one of the two things that I bought over there I will not be taking out of the package, and it is still sealed. But you'll have to see it. It's pretty damn cool. I hadn't seen anything like it. But, anywho. Okay, so here's this. I believe this lid lifts up this way. I don't know what is in here. It looks like some books or something. I don't know. Maybe another soundtrack. Nah, this is just a straight up art book. For the different weapons, the girls. I'm not going to open it up too wide. I don't want to fold the spine on it. But yeah, it's got showing all the different girls and stuff. I don't know how many girls there actually are in the game. And then the game is still sealed. Shoot 'em up, soak 'em up is what it says. Peach Beach Splash. I keep screwing these names up. Yeah, basically it's water gun fights. So I guess kind of like water gun fights like Call of Duty style or something. I don't know. You're running around basically shooting people with a water gun. What do you want? And then this is the soundtrack. Another soundtrack for us. Let's go ahead and open it. Why not? It's not like it's some investment or something that I bought to, resell or anything. I just bought it to have fun and shoot water guns at people, I guess. Nara Rock Festival. The original soundtrack. And the soundtrack is 2 discs. Try to get them facing the right direction. There we go. It looks like there's some artwork underneath it. Oh yeah, awesome. And there's another one over here. There we go. And it's funny because one of the, I don't know if it's the design company or the programming company or what for this place is called Marvelous. But it almost looks like Marvel Studios. The way it's written, it mirrors Marvel Studios logo quite a bit, which is kind of funny. And then we have the game, which we will crack open. So this is the no shirt, no shoes, all service edition. I figured if we were going to buy it, we might as well buy one that had like some stuff with it as opposed to just buying a loose game. And there's DLC and stuff. And more, I think this has reversible case art as well. Yep. So reversible case art. And I don't know what the DLC is, and I haven't played this one. But like I said, the other one was pretty fun, just slashing the hell out of things. So, this is a code to access my DLC. I get some high school uniform costumes, some bikinis, and a pet card. I don't know what those are. The Japanese know how to do it, man. They know how to package stuff and give you a lot for your money. You gotta like that. Now, this is not an import. This was actually meant to be released in the United States. From the way it looks, with the ESRB logo and stuff that's on this. There are some Japanese games that will play on the PS4, but are imports like DOA 3 and Extreme Volleyball 3 and stuff, which I do not own. And they're made for the Japanese system, but they will play on American PS4. It's just you got to import it or buy it from an American seller and pay a markup or whatever. But anyway, books, soundtrack, art book, game, put it back in the box. That's actually pretty friggin' cool looking. Fantasy violence, partial nudity, sexual themes, and strong language. All the things I enjoy. So, like I said, we will go to Gameco or whatever that place is sometime. Maybe I'll plan on doing it sometime. Today, it just didn't seem like a good idea to drive all the way in the hell out there and not know where exactly it was and not know if they were going to have anything that I wanted. But like I said, I Google searched and I found this A Game place, and they had some shots of the inside of the store, and I noticed they had quite a few loose cart Nintendo 64 games and stuff in one of the shots. And I was like, I'm going to go check this place out. And I headed over that way. There's some me in the car. I don't know how much of that shit I put on the front of this, but you'll see. I do kind of get turned around. I should have taken a left at this one light, and I went right. So I went the wrong direction, didn't see it, and turned back around and went the other way, and quickly found it once I went through that intersection that I should have turned left instead of right at. And then you saw a little bit of the in-store stuff and walking around, but I don't think I have any footage showing the two things that I picked up. So anyway, like I said, I was in there. They did have a few 3DO games in box. The boxes were a little beat. They had seen better days, let's put it that way. They had Shockwave, FIFA Soccer, one, I don't remember the year that was on it, and Mercenaries. And I have all three of those games. Or I have a FIFA soccer game, and I have a Mercenaries and Shockwave. So he wanted around 15 for those, and they were kind of beat up for 15 in my opinion. But you just don't see 3DO stuff anywhere. They had a few Sega CD games. They were either stuff that I own, or yeah, they had I'm trying to think. They had Flying Aces. Rise of the Dragon, and I'm trying to think. They had a few, but nothing that jumped out at me. And then they had a Sega Sonic CD behind the counter, like up on the shelf, and I don't know what they would have wanted for that one, but evidently they wanted more than the other ones that they had out there. And I didn't really price the Sega CDs because there wasn't any of them that I wanted there. How much time we got left? Yeah, we're getting down to it. I'm going to restart the camera and then we'll keep going. Alright, so we're back. Yeah, so I went in there, they had some Genesis in the clamshell games. I didn't look at a lot of them because there were some sports titles and Bubsy and a couple other ones. And I have Bubsy, and I just didn't... I wasn't really looking for Genesis stuff. I was just trying to get an overall feel of the store. They had some PS2 games, some Xbox games. Not quite as much of that stuff as like a reseller or vintage stock, surely, but they did have some. They had kind of a small selection of newer stuff. It was weird, kind of like stuff that was PS4, Xbox One, 360, and PS3. They didn't quite have as much of that. They had more of the Atari and Sega Genesis loose cards, and Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo. They had some Nintendo 64 games that looked like they were still sealed. It looked like a million seller Player's Choice Mario 64. It looked factory sealed to me, but I'm not sure if it was or not. The box was a little dented. And I'm not a huge Mario fan, so I wasn't like, oh, I got to get that. They had action figures and other things that were bagged and pretty cool. And then I started making my way back up to the front, and there's this one guy playing like a boxing game there, and there's this other guy kind of talking to him that had come in while I was there. And this guy obviously is lonely. I mean, he just immediately started talking to the guy. I think the guy that was playing was working there, but he was like, you know, I was the guy that called, and I didn't want to come up here if you guys were getting ready to close, because I know how that is, and da-da-da. And he's like, no, man, we're open till, I think they're open till 6, and it was like 4 o'clock at that time when I was over there. And he just starts talking about, you know, the Super Nintendo and how, what great games it had, and this and that, and he's like, yeah, you know, and he's just going on and on. And I could tell the guy that was playing the boxing game that actually worked there was just kind of, you know, going, yeah, but he wasn't really listening to what the guy was saying. And then as I was walking by there, they had like these plastic trays. I don't know if I got them on the video. For the Nintendo 64, it had the Nintendo 64 logo, and it slid open like a VHS kind of container holder. And it looked like you could put your games, the box games, inside it. I don't know how much they wanted for one of those. I might look at them the next time I go in there, if they're still there, and see. Because I might be interested in those. They had 2 of them. But they were right close to the game, and the guy had like finished his round or finished the fight he was fighting, and kind of set the controller down. It's like, here, check it out. You know, he's like, you know, kind of to the guy that was talking to him, like, here, you can play or whatever. Or he kind of, and then he kind of looked at me, and I'm like, I'm good. I forget, it was like Knockout Kings or something. I don't know what he was playing exactly. But I got some footage in the cases and stuff, and then I walked over to this one case, and there's another guy sitting behind the counter, and he had like a little TV on with some stuff going, I believe, and he was on his phone. I think he was looking at like some sports shit, like March Madness kind of stuff. And he had on a Missouri like polo shirt, like for Missouri University, MU, Tigers. And I looked in this case, and I'm glancing there, and I see this one game by itself for a particular system. And I was like, ooh, you know, because it wasn't a shit title. It was a decent title. And I was like, I don't know, man. I wonder what they want for this. And I was like I said, I might have overpaid, but I was just happy to see it and was kind of excited. But the guy, I go, sir, and he's like, yes, sir, what can I do for you? You know, kind of jerked away from his phone, excuse me. Like he, like I kind of startled him a little bit. And he's like, yeah. And I go, I'd like to know maybe what the price of one of these games is in here. And he goes, yeah, sure. And he turns around, he starts to open the case up, and I go, this one right here, it was kind of over by itself. I go, you just don't see them. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I know. And he pulls it out, and I look at it, and I could tell when he handed it to me just by kind of looking at it. It was complete, but I could tell by looking at it that Smoker had owned it, because the front case was slightly yellowed, but it didn't smell like smoke really bad. And he kind of holds it up, and he goes, he looked at the price, and then he kind of, he didn't like, you know, get real wide-eyed, but he did kind of go like that, and he goes, what do you think? Before he handed it to me, he goes, what do you think it costs? And I go, I shot high on purpose, but I go, I don't know. I go 60. And he's like, he goes, you overbid, is what he said. But he handed it to me. And I go, how much? And I flip it over, and it was $45. But like I said, you just don't see him out and about hardly at all. And I only have 2 games for this system. And it was a system that was gifted to me way back early on in YouTube by a YouTuber, I believe he was Canadian, named Super NES Man. And he shipped me this thing from Canada, and there was a big story about how the post office lost it or gave it out to the wrong person, and then that person actually brought it to my house, which was awesome. But I was so pissed at the post office and everything. And he had sent me this game, and he'd sent me this console, and he included a game with it. And I had like 1 or 2 games, and I'd given them to my cousin because he had recently gotten one over a Christmas. And I didn't think I'd ever own the system, so I went ahead and gave him these 2 games. And one of the 2 games I own again because I found a copy of it, or somebody sent me one. I think somebody sent it to me because they're like, I have a copy if you want it. I was like, sure. So I might have paid a little something for it, or nothing for all I remember. So this is the 3rd game I actually own for this system. And I'll go ahead and show it. I know I've been talking it up for a while, but what I liked was when the guy was showing it to me, he's like, so you're a collector? And I'm like, I go, oh yeah. I collect a little bit of everything. And he is like, oh yeah? And he says to me, because he sees that I'm interested in it, he goes, well, I tell you what, he goes, I'll knock 5 off for you if you're if you're a collector. And I'm like, sure. I was like, wow, man, thanks, because people aren't usually like, hey, I'll make that cheaper for you, and not the places I go. But like I said, this is like, I think this guy was the owner, and he goes, yeah, well, we'll sell it to you for 40. And I kind of looked at it, and yeah, the side label is a little worn, but. And like I said, the cover was a little bit yellowed, and so was the inner little thing that holds the game in. But it didn't reek, and it looked pretty good. I swapped out the cover for a clean plastic cover, a jewel case cover. But I know I'm dragging it out, and you don't even know what system it is. You might have guessed if you watched stuff. But it's for the TurboGrafx 16 of all systems. And the guy told me in passing, like after I was leaving, he goes, we've had that game for 2 years, he says to me, and he goes, just nobody wanted to buy it. He goes, for a long time it was out on the shelf, and he goes, I finally put it in the case because it was the only one we had, and he goes, you just don't see the stuff come in. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, without talking it up anymore, I picked up for the TurboGrafx 16 a copy of Bonk's Adventure. And like I said, here's the $45 price sticker. The guy sold it to me for $40, and the side label is a little bit worn. I did just barely wiped it with a very, very damp paper towel, just a little bit, but not enough to take anything off of it. Like I said, I put a new jewel case cover on this. And the instruction book is in nice shape, no folds in it or anything. And then the game inside, and you can tell, like I said, this little thing that holds the game, the little plastic, it's in there, but it's definitely been yellowed, maybe over time, but also from smoke. You can just tell by looking at it. But it doesn't smell. That's a big thing for me. I rarely will buy things if they are smoke damaged, and the only other thing that I could think of offhand that I bought was this game that I have sitting here, and I'm going to talk about it for a second. But yeah, Bonk's Adventure, and it was $45, like I said. But Bonk's is a good title, and especially for the TurboGrafx. It's not like it was like tennis or something. So for $40. I was like, all right, yeah. I go. I think you sold me when he said he'd mark it down $5. But in doing so, while I was kind of standing there and he was getting the game out of the case, I had noticed this other thing over by his consoles that he had on the shelf. He had some Super Nintendos, some other stuff, but this other thing was sitting over on the shelf. And I was like, I'm kind of curious. I go, what is this thing over here, you know? And he goes, he goes, that's actually a T-shirt. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. And he pulls it out and he hands me this thing, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like it before. I don't think it's super, like, old, because it's got a 2018 trademark on the back. So, I mean, it's not like this thing is, like, super been around for 20 years or anything. But it was just so interesting to me. It's hard plastic. It's a hard plastic case, and a T-shirt is inside it. Now, it's a Super Nintendo game that's on the T-shirt, but it's also a Super Nintendo case that looks like a cartridge of the game that the shirt is. And the shirt is a size medium, and I'm way, way, way beyond being a medium. I'm like a 4X. So this is not coming out of the shrink wrap because it is a medium-sized T-shirt. But check this thing out. I picked this up. I asked him how much it was. He goes, it was $15. He had to yell over to the guy that was playing the Knockout Kings that was still talking to the other dude over there and say, how much is your shirt here? Because I don't know. I guess the kid had, sold it in or you know, he I don't know why he said your shirt, but he did to the guy. And he goes, 15, and he goes, the guy standing there, he goes, I'll tell you what, since you're picking up the other game, he goes, I'll do it for 10. He goes, we'll do an even 50 for both. And I go, all right, so I bought this. Like I said, I'd never seen anything like this, but here we go. My favorite game on the Super Nintendo, check this shit out. It is a T-shirt for Super Metroid. It is a medium-sized shirt in there. This is a hard plastic case. It's got little snaps on the bottom, and it's on a hinge on this end, but it looks like a Super Nintendo cartridge. And actually, it shows on the back a Zelda and a Super Mario World one as well. And it looks like it's got like little holes where you can put screws in the wall and hang it on the wall, the case, once you take the shirt out of it. And that's the shirt right there that's in there. It's basically the front of the box on a black T-shirt. But like I said, it's medium. And I didn't even look to see what size the shirt was. That wasn't what I was interested in when I saw it. I was just blown away by this thing. $10. And it looks like they made a Super Mario World and a Zelda one. And I might have to look into those and see if I can't come across them. But this is definitely going to go in the background. It'll be a showpiece. So I just love this. And like I said, it was still sealed. And I was like, I can't pass that up. Even if I wasn't going to get bonks, I was like, I want to know what this thing is. That was like, even if I didn't, because like I said, he was looking for the game when I saw that. And I go, I got to know what that thing is. And once he told me, and he said it was only 15, I was like, oh, I got it. It's mine. And then he's like, I'll mark it down to 10. And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I like mom and pop stores where the guy's just like, yeah, I'll knock some money off. Fuck yeah, I'm going back to that store. Definitely. Maybe not all the time, but, once a month or every 6 weeks or so, check and see what they got. He said that they had that TurboGrafx box game for 2 years, and people had looked at it, but nobody had bought it. And I think that's why he might have marked it down $5 to get it out of his case. But he goes, you're a collector, huh? He goes, Sega CD. I got about 80 games in the case. I've got about 125 or so Nintendo games in the box. And he goes, what about 3DO? And that's when he said 3DO. I go, oh, I love the 3DO. I go, 3DO is probably my favorite retro console that is just so ridiculous. I just love it to death. And he goes, yeah, I got a couple games over there. And I go, yeah, I saw them. I go, I have those games. I go, I have all 3 of those. And like I said, I don't know about the soccer game, but I do have a FIFA soccer game, so I'm assuming that it's the same game. And he's like, yeah, he goes, you just don't see that stuff either. And I go, not really. I go, but I do have those games. So I just thought this was $50 and some tax for these things. But I am super happy. I'm going to hook up my TurboGrafx to check out the game. And like I said, I'm going to put this on the shelf over here. So this is a nice little pickups video. We got quite a bit of shit. And what I was going to talk about with this other game was, when I did buy this game, this PS3 game called Folklore, I really wanted the game for a while, and it had a pretty good price on it, and it was out at the Liberty GameStop. And I picked it up, and at the time in the store, I just kind of had looked at it, you know, looked at the game and stuff, and it was like, it looks to be in good shape. So I didn't really like hold it up to my face and smell it or anything like that, and so I went ahead and bought it. And then when I got home and opened up the case and was looking through the instruction book, I could smell that a smoker had owned this, because the instruction booklet just reeked of smoke. And what I did, it no longer smells like smoke, but it does have a smell. What I did was I went and bought a full brand new box of dryer sheets. The Fresh Breeze scent, and I put a dryer sheet between every single page in the book, and then wrapped a dryer sheet around the front cover, and I put this in between some gaming guides, hardback gaming guides that I had bought, an Assassin's Creed and that online Oblivion guide that I bought thinking it was Oblivion. It was really the online game, but it's still a beautiful strategy guide. I put them in between those and sandwiched it in there, put some weight on top of it, and I literally left this in between that for 2 months, 60 days. I did not touch it. I didn't look at it. I didn't pull it out or anything. And when I pulled it out after 60 days, I pulled all of the dryer sheets out, flipped through it, and it smells like clean, fresh scent. That's what it smells like. But the smell has so overpowered and permeated the instruction book that, like I said, it no longer smells like smoke, but it smells like dryer sheets. But I would definitely rather it smell like a clean, fresh Downy dryer sheet than a pack of cigarettes or an ashtray. So that was all I was going to say. If you've had problems where stuff really, especially manuals and stuff, really are smoky smelling and stuff, try that. If you don't mind it having a smell, you could try the odor neutralizing dryer sheets. There's like these ones called like odor neutralizers. I didn't use those. You could try it, but I just took the ones that had a pleasant smell. And like I said, in between every single page, I just was like, this whole box of dryer sheets is being bought for this particular thing to use for this. It was like $1, $1 or something. Go to the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, and buy you some friggin' dryer sheets. And but you got to leave it alone. Leave it alone for 6 weeks anyway. Don't look at it every day and wonder when the smell's going to go away. Do it, put it up, forget about it. Check it in about 6 weeks, 2 months, and hopefully you'll have as good luck as I did because the smell's gone. I've really had awesome luck with most other things as far as smoke. Never was a smoker, never had smoking around my video games. So pretty much everything I own is in pretty good shape. So I'm going to sign off, folks. That was the video. It's definitely a pickups video. And A game, A, like the fonts, A. We'll definitely be going back there. I really need to look at the video to see the footage and actually kind of see the store again. And I'll definitely probably check it out as I'm editing. So we'll see if I have any glaring things that I overlooked as I'm doing the video, like not finishing a story or anything. And we'll sign off. So if you guys have played any of those games, the Senran or the Oni Chanabara or whatever, let me know. And if you think this Super Metroid t-shirt was pretty damn cool, I did. And Bonks, hey. So we have 3 TurboGrafx games. We have Blazing Lasers, Keith Courage, which, like I said, I think somebody gifted to me, and Bonks Adventure. And the 2 games that I had given my cousin were Keith Courage, which I had found, and Space Harrier. And so, you just don't see them. So, signing off, folks. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next vid. Jesus, folks. What started off as a basic wanting to check that Bonks Adventure game turned into a 3-hour debacle. I could not figure out on my own TV how to get it to run directly in. And then when I did, I had to type 3-0 and hit enter to get it to come up. And the other way I figured that out is because I had to do an auto scan and I had the machine on and it detected the channel. But it had a bunch of crackling and shit throughout it. And so I was like, well, shit, because before I got it to come up and I was doing the auto scan, I go, well, I guess I could pull out my VCR, because there's no audio visual jack on the TurboGrafx, only the RF. And so I was like, well, I could pull out my old VCR, hook it up to the audio visual, and then run the line in the back for the machine. And when I pulled out the VCR, of course, I was like, oh, I better open it up and clean it. I don't know why, because it was dusty, and I decided to open it up. And I couldn't get it to work right. It wasn't feeding the tape right and doing weird stuff, and so I played around with it for a while, and finally I think, yeah, I got it up and running. But then I found all these god dang VHS tapes that I don't even know what's on them, and I thought I might take a look at a couple, but I finally got it set up through the VCR with the coming through the audio visual channels. There's no crackling or anything through it, but I have not stuck Bonks in yet. So let's do that. This is high quality entertainment. Oh boy, come on. I hate one hand and stuff like this. There we go. Or we could stare at the blue screen. Nothing like doing this handheld. How am I going to play the game with one hand? Here we go. It's so dark you probably can't even freaking see it anyway. Bonks Adventure. Turn her on. There we go. Well, it turned on. Let's see if she's worth 40 bucks. Hit the run button. There we go. Oh, yes. I remember this game. Didn't they make it for the Nintendo as well at one point? I'm gonna get eaten because I can't do this one-handed. I can try to do it one-handed. Oh, I almost got him. Alright. I'm pressing right with my left pinky on the controller and pressing the button with my pointer finger. Just keep moving right. Oh, just keep going. Oh. Can I get that dude? Yes. Now what do I do? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, this is horrible. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that it is working, regardless of my ineptitude, because, hey, I ate some meat. I'm powered up. I'm full of protein. Ugh. Oh, more meat. Oh, I can't go backwards. Oh. Oh, green pepper. Hey, I cleared the level one-handed. Ah, fuck. My shoulder hurts now. Alright, that's it. That's all I was going to show you of that.